You're watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Here's your host, Don Ansell.
Okay, we're back. Nick Rhodes, a member of the New Hanover County School Board, the chair of the school board, Ed Higgins, joining us. I didn't really allow Ed a little time to respond to that last question about the extension of the superintendent's contract. You voted for it?
I did vote for it, and kind of contrary to what Mr. Rhodes said, I do think the school system's making progress. Dr. Lurch has been in the job for just under 2 years. Now, I did not vote for Dr. Lurch to get the job because I agreed with Mr. Rhodes on that. I didn't like the process that was followed. But now that he has the job,
you think he's doing a good job?
I think he's doing. I think he is doing a satisfactory job.
Is that good enough to extend his contract?
I think it is, because I think he needs that to feel that support. But I have already expressed to him my concern that we've only seen 1 year of results. That was last year's results. We're waiting to see what the results are this year. There are programs that he implemented last year that got several schools into AYP. We'll be interested in seeing how those respond this year, and we hope that we have more schools that make AYP, and we will be on a positive road to success.
Okay. The board recently moved to increase the number of schools that require more uniform dress code for students. What kind of reaction you've gotten? Parents?
Well, let us first, the school board doesn't do anything on dress code. We have
It's individual schools?
Our position has been that that's a site-based decision, but the school board will support any school that wants to go to a uniform dress.
And the high schools are doing that now?
The high schools have come to us with their proposal for a uniform dress, and we will support them. We just encourage them to support their own programs.
When you say they came to you, why? Do you have to vote on it?
No, we do not have to vote.
Oh, okay.
What basically it comes down to,
they just advise you they're going to do it.
They advise us that they're going to do it, and the board's position has been that if that's the wishes of each individual school, then we will support.
Have you had much input from parents?
I have had limited input from parents. I get email messages and phone calls from parents every day, and I have received. I didn't do a count, but the support that I received from parents more in favor of it than not.
Are you in favor of it?
I am in favor of it because this is not new. We've had uniform dress in our elementary schools, and then we moved it to some of the middle schools have moved to uniform dress, and we've had some issues with regard to student dress. And the principals have decided with their staff that we've got to make some correction with regard to that. So they made the decision to go to uniform dress. And like Mr. Higgins said, the board support that decision to do that.
Okay. There's been some recent criticism about public bodies in general traveling to conferences, especially during tough economic times. The city had some strong criticism about a council trip to Washington, D.C., as did the school board about a trip to San Diego. I think you both went on that trip.
I did not.
I went on that trip.
You went on that trip.
Yes.
Do you know what the trip cost the taxpayers? Do you have any handle on that, or do you?
I think my trip was in the area of. I'd have to look at my my expense voucher. In the area of.
But you get an expense allotment for traveling, do you?
We
not?
get an expense allotment for traveling.
Is that part of that?
That's part of it. We each have individual travel allowance, and we can expense that for even local travel. I think it's important to attend conferences to find out what other jurisdictions are doing, and as one superintendent said at the school board conference, I come to these conferences to network and steal ideas from other superintendents. So for that reason, I like to attend conferences. So I do not expense for any local travel. And traveling around the county on my personal expenses, that's on my dime.
Which is allowable if you wanted to.
If I wanted to do it, it's allowable.
And you kind of, save that up so you can take trips like this?
Yes, I do not expense one nickel for any travel I make around the county.
Were there some important things that you came away with from this
Yes,
conference?
there were some very, very important things, and it has to do with school improvement. And in fact, I brought some materials back that I shared with some of my colleagues We are planning to go into school improvement plan and strategic planning. And back to why I voted for not to extend the superintendent's contract. The system does not have a strategic plan at this point. And I don't think you can do anything without a plan. And I listened to some of those presentations from school districts around the country and how they have gone about school improvement and how they have been aggressive in doing that. And one example that they used at the National School Board Conference in San Diego was a school system right here in our own state, and that's Statesville, Iredale. And so I think if they can do it, we can do it. So I thought that was a very, very valuable conference. And matter of fact, I shared some of that material with Dr. Lurch in a meeting we had just this week.
How many people went? How many from the board?
There were 3 of us.
3. Ed, we're in some really tough times.
We are.
What do you think are the biggest challenges facing the system this coming year?
I think the biggest challenge we're going to have is meeting the classroom needs of the school system.
You mean frontline
teachers. But the thing is that there are other things that keep a school operating. And a lot of times people say, well, you could cut back on this, you could cut back on that. If you don't have janitors and the schools are unclean, then that's not a good environment. We've got to pay for heat and water and electricity and fuel for the buses and all that. We have done it. We're doing some modification on the bus routes. We actually run more bus routes than we really legally have to. I mean, technically, we could mandate that anybody living within 1.5 miles of the school would have to get there on their own, that we would not pick up any child. But our concern is with the traffic in the New Hanover County area, that it is much safer for us to stop a bus and pick a child up than it is to have them trying to walk or ride a bicycle. And there are no sidewalks in this county.
We're almost out of time, and I have like so many more questions. I am curious to know, you're in your last year of your fourth year. You going to run again?
Yes, I fully plan to. I think there's some things that needs to be done. I think I can make a contribution to that. In several areas, we need to look again at our magnet schools. We are overcrowded in some of our schools. I think there is some work left to be done, and I fully intend to run again.
Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
Ed Higgins, Chair, New Hanover County School Board, always good to see you. Nick Rhodes, we'll see you again soon. Thanks so much.
It's always a pleasure, Don.
And thank you for joining us today on Byline Wilmington. If you'd like to see us online, go to WILM-TV.com. Click on the icon Byline Wilmington. I'm Don Ansel. We'll see you next week.
Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Join us every Sunday morning at 11 as we explore the issues that concern you.